Hello and welcome! Today I am bringing you the top 7 scramblers for 2022. This isn't a list of the new breakfast specials at Denny's or the most exciting golf tournaments. A scrambler is a retro style bike that is meant for riders that want to mix it up off-road, but know a dual sport won't match their Carhartt and Red Wing boots. Motorcycle manufacturers have been putting a lot of energy into developing motorcycles that capitalize on the emotional rhetoric of heritage and nostalgia. These bikes mimic the styles that were originally the result of rider customizations like cafe racers, bobbers, and scramblers. Before conventional dirt bikes and motocross, people would have to modify their street bikes to be suitable to compete in scramble races, as they would have ripped off varying degrees of aggressive off-road terrain. This would typically include stripping off unnecessary components, rerouting the exhaust for higher ground clearance, and installing knobby tires. Scramblers are the love child of an era where motorcyclists just truly sent it with whatever they had. In the modern motorcycle world, a scrambler probably isn't the best option for hill climbs or serious single track, although I have ridden my Ducati Desert Sled on some pretty questionable terrain. But instead, they are cool, stylish retro motorcycles that are capable of both street riding and having some fun in the dirt. If you like having fun, make sure to hit the bell to get notified when we release new videos. That way you can be sure to get the juiciest motorcycle content while the memes are still relevant. On to our list. The first scrambler on our list is the Husqvarna Fart 401, a beloved and favored motorcycle here at Yami Noob. Husqvarna calls it an urban explorer, which seems to be an apt description for a bike that looks like it's meant to explore the rigorous expanse of a decaying post-apocalyptic metropolis. This is what makes this Fart so interesting. It has a super edgy and futuristic style while emulating a vintage type of motorcycle you would expect to see nearly 75 years ago. Just like the Ouroboros eating its tail, these Fartpillen is symbolic of the cycle of destruction and rebirth as resilient motorcycle trends reinvent themselves every few decades. We have already sang our praises of these Fartpillen as one of the best beginner bike options available, and we know we'll look at it more specifically in the context of a scrambler. It has a 373cc single-cylinder engine that makes 44 horsepower and 27 foot-pounds of torque. It has 17-inch spoked wheels outfitted with semi-knobby tires for extra grip on any loose gravel or human bones you may come across in your urban exploration. The Fartpillen has almost 6 inches of ground clearance and adjustable WP suspension, and in case that is quite not enough ground clearance, it also comes equipped with a skid plate to protect your more sensitive area. Despite the tall 33-inch seat height, the riding position is very easygoing with dirt bike-style handlebars that give you leverage you might need to muscle the bike around off-road. Pair the punchy torque-forward engine with a supermoto mode that deactivates the rear ABS, and you should have no problem getting a little squirrely with this Fartpillen. All this comes at an incredibly modest price of $53.99, which makes it one of the best scramblers you can buy in 2022. The only American entry in our list of scramblers is the Indian FTR Rally. The FTR may have been birthed from the glory days of American flat track racing, but the rally trim option makes it a competitive and competent scrambler for dirt use beyond just a clay oval. It is kind of heavy but it differs from the normal FTR. The Rally comes with 18 and 19-inch spoked wheel setup outfitted with the Pirelli Rally Scorpion tires from the factory. It also comes with a Pro Taper handlebar and a small fly screen that both improves the off-road handling and adds to the overall scrambler aesthetic. In any trim, the FTR is a serious little ripper that makes 120 horsepower and an almost Harley-worthy 87 foot-pounds of torque from its 1203cc V-twin. It's a pretty nasty engine. We had an FTR a while ago and I really liked it. The Rally trim doesn't feature traction control, which means you'll be in for a fun time while trying to keep the bike straight under heavy throttle in the dirt. But that is just one of the many exciting things about a motorcycle like this. It elicits rambunctious horseplay in the best way possible. The Indian FTR Rally costs $13,999 from the dealership. The FTR does come with ABS, cruise control, Brembo brakes, which makes this bike feel worthy of a premium price tag. The FTR may have some premium features, but unfortunately, it does not come equipped with the most premium shaver in men's grouping, the Lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped. While nostalgic motorcycles like scramblers can be charming in their primitive and rudimentary design, there is nothing charming about being primitive below the belt. Come on guys, if you get lucky enough to actually meet a woman who is interested in motorcycles, the last thing you want to do is scare her away looking like you just came back from a 6-month desert rally in 1972. Manscaped has got you covered with the best option in male grooming. The waterproof Lawnmower 4.0 has skin-safe ceramic blades, an LED spotlight, and even wireless charging. Or if you're really in the need for a refresh, check out the Platinum Package 4.0 that comes with the lawnmower, weed whacker, nose trimmer, and all the necessary body wash and shampoo shampoo to keep you clean after spending a few hours sweating through your riding gear. If you follow the link down below, you will automatically get 20% off and free shipping. So click the link down below and get yourself some Manscapes, and thanks to them for supporting what we do here. Hailing from the land of the original Scramble races, the next bike on our list is the Triumph Street Scrambler. Triumph has been making Scrambler motorcycles since 2006, and the Street Scrambler is one of 2 models currently in production alongside the Scrambler 1200. So far on the list, Triumph is stylistically the spitting image of what you would expect a modern Scrambler to look like. It has the high-swept twin exhaust pipe, fork gators, and spoked wheels. If you spring for the Sandstorm edition, you can have even more Scrambler accoutrement like a raised front fender and a headlight grille. The Street Scrambler shares the same 900cc parallel twin engine from the T100 Bonneville that makes 64 horsepower and 59 foot-pounds of torquenos. The torque comes on very quickly in the rev range, which makes it well suited for urban riding or playing in the sandbox. It has ride-by-wire throttle, multiple power modes so you don't yeet yourself into any unsuspecting objects while you're out scrambling in the forest or searching for Bigfoot. In its stock form, this bike won't be very confidence-inspiring going down an aggressive single track due to its 492-pound curb weight and the street-biased metal tires it wears from the factory, but it should be able to handle some sandy forest roads just fine. The Street Scrambler has some nice features like a Brembo front caliper, LED lighting, and a slipper assist clutch so you can make sure not to wear your hand out before your evening activities. Wink, wink. This bike has all the style and character you'd expect from Triumph. In its base trim, the Street Scrambler costs $11,295. It's another bike we've given away, and I really enjoyed it. Next up on our list is the Royal Enfield Himalayan. Never thought you'd hear about a Himalayan on this channel, did ya? Times are changing, folks. The Himalayan is outfitted with hard luggage, starts to feel reminiscent of an ADV spec dual sport like the Kawasaki KLR. But when stripped down, I think the vintage character and simplicity of this motorcycle make it worthy of being called a Scrambler as it is an adventure bike. The Himalayan is powered by a 411cc air-cooled single cylinder that puts down 24 horsepower and 24 foot-pounds of torque. This bike is pretty well suited for off-road duty with over 7 inches of suspension travel and almost 9 inches of ground clearance. It has a 17-inch wheel in the back and a 21-inch wheel in the front, equipped with a semi-knobby dual sport tire. It has that casual upright seating position you would expect from a Scrambler-style bike, with your feet directly beneath you and your hands in front of the bars. The Himalayan is actually one of the lighter motorcycles on today's list, weighing in at 440 pounds wet and ready to ride, which I guess could be expected for a motorcycle powered by a Harbor Freight engine. Jokes aside, this bike actually handles pretty good and well due to its weight down low. Its 31-inch seat height could be a good platform for a new rider that wants to try their hand at off-roading while still having a roadworthy motorcycle and classic looks. This bike actually has some nice tech like a switchable rear wheel ABS and the built-in tripper navigation system that has been used on other bikes from Royal Enfield. The whole package costs just $5,299, brand new. The number 5 spot on today's list is held by the BMW R9T Scrambler. With the addition of the 9T Scrambler in BMW's lineup, the treacherous road to the coffee shop is no longer just uncharted territory reserved for ADV dads on their GS 1250s. The BMW designed a Scrambler for riders with a net worth as large as their appetites for lattes and Hefeweizen. A motorcycle in the Scrambler style but catered towards pavement, the BMW R9T has a stripped-down classic look with an air-cooled boxer engine to match. This is definitely a super stylish retro-inspired bike that has character in spades. Between the shaft drive, dry clutch, and boxer engine that wobbles back and forth at idle, this bike feels like it comes from another era. The 1170cc engine makes 109 horsepower, which is pretty good, and 85 foot-pounds of torque, which makes it more than capable for city streets. It has a ride-by-wire throttle and 2 different ride modes, rain and road, with an optional dirt mode for a few extra euros. Too bad BMW couldn't come up with a more interesting way to refer to the different ride modes like it did on the R18. Maybe they can change it to Kraut Rock and Craft Work mode. Yeah, that sounds good. The 9T likely wouldn't fare well for any true scrambling as it comes from the factory, with its largely street-oriented tires and the exposed cylinder heads that are just begging to be smashed into the ground. But with the right amount of modifications and chutzpah, really any motorcycle can be taken off-road, just like the original DIY Scrambler builds of the past. I mean, look at our Gixxer 250. That was the perfect Scrambler. The BMW R9T Scrambler has a price tag of $13,495. The next motorcycle on our list is another offering from Triumph. It's the Scrambler 1200 XE. The 1200 Scrambler is the most capable Scrambler from Triumph. It has the same timeless, vintage-inspired looks you'd expect from the bigger engine and more high-end finishes that improve the performance and off-road capability. It has a 1200cc liquid-cooled parallel twin with a 270-degree crank that gives the Triumph engines more flavor than you would expect from other parallel twins. It makes 89 horsepower and 81 foot-pounds of torque, which is a decent bump in power compared to the street scrambler I mentioned earlier. The 1200 is completely furnished with premium components. It has fully adjustable 47mm Showa forks up front and dual Olin shocks in the back. With a 21-inch front tire and nearly 10 inches of suspension travel, the Scrambler 1200 should have no problem crossing some aggressive terrain. It's basically a naked adventure bike. It comes equipped with two 4-piston Brembo calipers in the front and a single 2-piston Brembo caliper in the rear. It features a pretty advanced tech package with the TFT display, ABS, and a customizable rider mode. The Triumph Scrambler 1200 XE is outfitted with all the bells and whistles and warrants the $15,845 price tag. The last Scrambler on our list actually has a spot in my personal stable. It's my beloved Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled. Ducati has a few different motorcycles on their Scrambler platform, and the Desert Sled is the most off-road capable model in the lineup. It has an air-cooled 803cc L-twin engine, making 74 horsepower and 50 foot-pounds of torque. When compared to other bikes in the Ducati Scrambler lineup, you can see the modifications they made to make the Desert Sled far more capable off-road than some of its contemporaries. It has 46mm fully adjustable forks with 8 inches of suspension travel, which is an upgrade in both size and capability compared to the suspension on more street-oriented models like the Icon Scrambler. The larger suspension does leave the Desert Sled with a bit taller seat height of 34 inches. Pair that with the 440 curb weight and it might seem a little intimidating in some hairy situations, although the Sled does have some nice tech features you can use to ease your fears about ripping a motorcycle of this stature off-road. Cornering ABS and off-road mode that smooths out the throttle response help keep this bike on its tires and not buried in the sand like a forgotten Tonka truck. It is set up with spoked wheels with a 17-inch rear and a 19-inch front. Comes equipped with Pirelli Rally Scorpion tires. Desert Sled costs about $12,395 from the dealership. I don't really have any jokes about this bike. That's how much I love it. It's probably the best scrambler you can buy if you intend on spending as much time scrambling as you do eating biscotti and paying your dealership service tech mortgage. Hey, there's a joke for you. But really, I do love this bike. We've done plenty of videos on other Desert Sleds on the channel, so if you'd like to hear more about just how damn awesome it is. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you click subscribe and ding the bell to get notified whenever we drop a new video. Fact: when agreeing to the terms and conditions for iTunes, you agree to use it to not make nuclear weapons. The clause states you also agree that you will not use these products to and for the development, design, manufacture, or production of nuclear, missile, or chemical or biological weapons. Look, I know your mixtape is fire, but I don't know if it's going to be doing anything like that. Goodbye. Well, look at you. You've made it to the end of another Yammy Noob video. You should consider yourself pretty lucky because I have curated this one right over here for you to continue watching. It's probably just as good as the one you just saw. Unless you hated the one you just saw. I don't know, maybe leave me a comment down below about how much you hated it as well too. Or just keep watching this one. Make sure you keep watching Yammy Noob. Don't forget to keep watching Yammy Noob. That's the most important thing. Keep watching Yammy Noob.